Good morning and welcome. I'm Thomas Lantz, President of the festival, and we are very proud to present the 12th edition of the festival.
I'm Susanne Rydén, CEO, VD for Musik, the regional music institution in the southern part of Sweden. And I'm also the president of the Royal Swedish Academy of Music, which holds a special part of this year's festival here in Ystad.
I'm Lundgren, the artistic director of the festival. We'll tell you more later. Let's start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ja, vi är ju naturligtvis glada att få presentera programmet idag. Och det är under speciella förutsättningar. Vi vet ännu inte hur många som kommer att få lov att besöka festivalen. Imorgon kommer den svenska regeringen att redovisa, förhoppningsvis släppa på restriktionerna lite grann så att så många som möjligt kan komma till festivalen. Men det program vi kommer att presentera idag, det avser vi att genomföra. Det som kan bli ändringar på är faktiskt platserna, beroende på om vi måste vara utomhus med tanke på smittspridningsläget. Så det finns alltså en plan för det. Jag vill passa på att tacka alla våra sponsorer, bidragsgivare och jazzvänner och alla andra som på olika sätt bidrar till att göra festivalen till en fest. Och kan ni inte komma så följ gärna festivalen på Facebook eller på vår hemsida.
Ja, Musik, and I think I'll switch to English since I know there are some foreign guests with us, and I hope you will all understand. As Thomas said, there are many insecurities about this year's festival. We don't know how many we actually can welcome here to Ystad. But in any case, it's a pleasure for us as a regional institution to be part of the festival. The core of our business is to collaborate. And Ystad Sweden Jazz Festival holds a very special position in the heart of our business, and we are very happy and proud to be part of the jazz family in Ystad, also in this year's festival. We give special attention to the young people, the young artists, the next jazz generation, who they have a special scene, and it's great to see these young upcoming artists, really the next jazz generation of professional performers, to involve them in the festival and to give space for their musicianship, which they love actually, to come here and be part of the great atmosphere. We also give special attention to the children. Jazz Kids holds a very special position in the festival also this year, and they are involved in the full day for the Swedish Royal Academy of Music, which this year celebrates 250 years. You might know the Swedish Academy because they are the host of the Nobel Prize better, but the Royal Swedish Music Academy is older, founded in 1771, and since then we have been working for a thriving musical landscape in Sweden, a lot of the time hosting for 200 years actually being responsible for all higher music tuition. But today, and since 1986, we have jazz present, a jazz representation within the academy, and we support the musical life in various ways, by scholarships, by prizes, also a jazz prize, which is nice, and lots of scholarships supporting also the musical jazz life. And we have dedicated a day for the Swedish jazz in this year's festival, and I think we will hear more about that right from Jan.
Yes.
I think I'll.
Thank you very much. And 250 years, but the jazz festival is only 12 years old this year. Will be the 12th edition. We're very proud to make it happen this year, of course, you know, since all the difficulties we're having. As Thomas said, it will happen anyway, and the tickets are released today, right?
Yes.
So you're welcome to buy tickets, and I think
There is only 25.
Yeah, well,
Trees.
very limited amount
Yeah.
of tickets released today, but after a while probably we will release more and more,
Yeah.
you know, and so don't worry too much about that, but book today. Now I will speak a little bit about the program. It's more than 30 concerts, 34 or 32 concerts in the whole program, which is I'm extremely proud of. It's almost a normal quantity when it comes to concerts at this year's festival. We will start on Wednesday the 4th of August. The festival is between 4th to the 7th of August. And I will take a look here what happens so I'm not making any kind of mistake. It will all start. We don't have a parade this year.
No.
For obvious reasons. We have to take that away. Unless some magical thing happen, you know, there will not be a parade. But we will have a parade band anyway. They are called Wonder Brass Band. It's one of Europe's premium, I would say, New Orleans, funk, jazz, a little bit of different kinds of music, as the normal New Orleans parade band today would be, like a brass band. This band is from France, called Wonder Brass Band. Will appear at the Ystad Theatre evening, 6 o'clock on Wednesday. It's an all-girl band, and they have been on stage for about 20 years now, and I'm looking forward very much to have this kind of music in the festival. It's been a tradition now since 10 years, I guess, that we had a band in this style every year. The Wednesday starts actually with 2 concerts. The second concert is, it includes the pianist here. I myself, every year I do 2 concerts at the festival. That's the idea we had from the beginning, and we'll stay with that as long as it works. And last year I had a concert with Lars Danielsson, the great bass player, and Emile Parisien, the fantastic soprano saxophonist, French. It was a new collaboration we started last year, and the concert went really good, and was streamed, recorded, so it will be released this year on CD. I'm very happy about that, and we will have a CD release concert. Same music, same artists, hopefully for a bigger audience this year. On the Wednesday also we have a tradition. We have somebody to go up in the tower of the local church here, Maria Kyrkan, Sankta Maria Church, and who would be better to do that this year than Emile Parisien with his soprano saxophone. I think that will be pretty spectacular opening of the festival. That's for the Wednesday. I'm going to continue now with the Thursday. Och jag hoppas alla svenskar som tittar på detta hänger med i min hyfsade engelska. Okej, jag fortsätter på engelska nämligen. På torsdagen, on the Thursday, we will have a concert. One of our main stages from the beginning has always been, except naturally the main stage, Ystad Theatre. Otherwise, Ystad Saltsjöbaden has been our premium stage.
Mm.
And I have to go back to last year again. Last year we started a stipend, an award for young musicians. Actually, 15 musicians were awarded the prize last year because of the corona difficulties, financial difficulties for young musicians. For this, we collected money from private donators, but also we did a concert on behalf to collect money. One of the musicians that appeared on this concert without any kind of fee was Emile Parisien, just mentioned. He will be kind of almost like a special artist this year, because he will have a concert of his own with his own quartet, Emile Parisien Quartet. His last project is double screening, so this is the group he's coming with, French quartet. That is 1 o'clock Thursday at Ystad Saltsjöbad. I'm continuing with the the headline concerts, and the next one is Danish-Swedish singer Caroline Henderson. Caroline Henderson at Ystad Theatre, 4 o'clock. Caroline is one of the big stars of on the Danish scene today. She was born and raised in Sweden, but moved to Copenhagen and became a really big star in music in general in Denmark. She's a great jazz singer as well, and her father was a jazz musician. She will have her very first appearance here in Ystad at the festival on the first day, and she brings a pretty big band, 7 musicians, I guess. It's a septet. Later at 6:30 we will have a concert on a new stage, Saluhallen. It's an amazing stage. It's an old thing in Ystad, this Saluhallen. What do you say, Saluhall? What's that in English? But it's like a marketplace for selling.
Yeah, indoor marketplace.
Yeah, indoor
with a
marketplace.
stage. Yeah.
But for many years it was just a grocery market shop. But now it has been remodeled and redesigned, beautifully done by Italian architecture. And this will be one of our stages this year. For that, we brought in Nicole Johansson, the great Swiss saxophonist who has been here before. And she has this fantastic project supporting young female jazz musicians called Sophia. And this is Sophia number 4, a quartet this time. Of course, Nicole will lead the group and be present here. And with her, Marielle Merck on guitar, German guitarist, the Swedish bass player Stina Andersdotter, who was one of the award winners, the prize winners last year, and Cecilia Sanchietti from Italy on the drums. A beautiful quartet that definitely don't want to miss. Later on Thursday, as the big grand finale that day is he's not old. He's pretty young actually, but he's almost legendary already. He's one of the big virtuosos in guitar playing in the world today. He's a sensation wherever he has been playing. He's Brazilian. He moved recently to Portugal, so I guess he has 2 places to live now. And I'm very, very proud to have him here. Some of you already understand I'm talking about Yamando Costa. And for anybody who loves music or loves somebody that is extremely virtuoso, but musical virtuoso, should attend this concert. It's a broad scope of musical influences, jazz of course being one of them, and he improvises a lot, but this is also for anybody who loves guitar as an instrument. Don't miss that one at the Ystad Theatre, 9 o'clock on Thursday. I will continue to the Friday now, and I'm just going through the what we call the bigger names, the headline concerts.
The Friday is the celebration of
Yeah.
the Royal Swedish Academy of Music, 250 years.
The whole day is supported by the Kungliga Musikaliska Akademin, och that's a really beautiful connection. So we have decided to make it a Swedish day with Swedish artists, almost only. And what could be better than to start at Ystad Saltsjöbad with a collaboration, a project initiated by the festival and Musik collaboration, and this is just made especially for the festival this year. The leaders are the pianist composer Cecilia Persson, originally from Kristianstad, Skåne, now living in Stockholm, I guess, and in collaboration with a big name in Sweden and perhaps to many worldwide also, soprano saxophonist Kenneth Jönsson, who has been around forever but always appear very youngish. This is exciting music. I don't know what would happen. Nobody knows. But it's I don't know. There are maybe 7 or 8 people on stage, 6 people at least. And well, somebody's on the door here. By the way, this is you're at my home here. It's the backyard of my house. This combination with Cecilia Persson and Kenneth Jönsson will include free improvisations, jazz, folk music, and very nice variation of instruments also. Further on, another project initiated by, this time I would say Musik in particular had this idea to bring in a special project, a new big band, Scandinavian Jazz Orchestra, and a special guest soloist. By now she's very famous in Sweden, Isabella Lundgren, not to be connected with this guy. Many have asked me that.
Yeah.
But she's a beautiful singer. She's in the long tradition, jazz tradition that goes back to singers like, well, obviously Billie Holiday, many others. She has her own style by now. The Scandinavian Jazz Orchestra is led by almost a local guy, Emil Fredberg, who is kind of a big hope for the jazz scene, and he's from Abbekås. It's just a few, not so far away from Ystad. He has brought in this idea to form this Scandinavian Jazz Orchestra, and I guess they have a small band within that band that was called Fredbergs Orchester.
Yeah.
And that band is very special because it exists. The content on that band was and is several of the absolutely finest young musicians working in Malmö and around Malmö. And I could mention a few of these guys. I will point out Jesse Elmoth, because he's not only the pianist in the band, but he is a great composer and has composed, arranged some of the music, especially for this project. The Scandinavian Jazz Orchestra meets Isabella Lundgren. It's led by Emil Fredberg. Don't forget that name either, please. 4 o'clock on Friday, that was at the Ystad Theatre. Then we have a real international group coming to the church, Santa Maria Church, at 6:30. And what could be better on this day, supported by the Royal Academy of Music in Stockholm, to have one of Sweden's professors of music, Anders Jormin, legendary Swedish bass player who played with Charles Lloyd, Bobo Stensson trio for so many years. He's been around for a long time, and I asked Anders what he wanted. You have a free hand to come with what you wish to come. And he said, I want to do a special trio I have. This is with the Swedish great, also legendary singer Lena Willemark, who is perhaps a folk singer, but perhaps a jazz singer. She is, she has one foot in each camp, I would say. And I think she really comes from almost the origin of Swedish folk music. She's born, or raised at least, I think, in Älvdalen. This is just in the, you cannot get more in the middle of the Swedish folk music than that. And she's just amazing. And the third member here is Japanese. So there will be actually not only Swedish artists performing this day. And this is Karin Nakagawa. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, and I'm sure if anybody is watching this from Japan, arigato. I would be happy to have a correction about the last name. But she plays the koto. Of course, this is the traditional Japanese 25 string instrument. And I never heard anybody play jazz or even improvised music on that. So I'm really curious about what will happen this day at the Santa Maria Church, 6:30, Friday. The evening concludes at 9 o'clock with my second concert, and I have invited the infamous George Rydén. And I don't know how to present a guy like that almost, because he has done everything you can do. He has composed opera, he did the Astrid Lindgren movies, of course, everybody knows this. And perhaps he's most famous for the duo recording he did with this pianist 15 years ago called Lockrop. Well, it sold a couple of thousand at least, so somebody obviously heard about it. Yeah, anyway, seriously speaking, I'm happy to have George here. He's already 87 years old this year, and he will also be our guest of honor. And I will come to that later. He will be interviewed by Susanne, a special hour, but for that later. Our program, me and George, that's a combination of original music composed by ourselves and some folk music.
Should we mention that the Friday, is also the big day for the children, with the jazz kids, with great artists performing together and for children, engaging them in. And I mean, you cannot be too young to get acquainted with jazz, right?
Of course, this is extremely important for the festival and for the future, I guess. So, well, thank you. Let's continue to the last day. Well, actually, there will be an extra day also. The festival has been extended to the 8th of August. When I take a closer look at the program, I remember that. But the 7th of August, the Saturday, is a full program, starting at Ystad with the Swedish singer with she has Polish backgrounds. Her parents are Polish, Swedish, but I think she's born even in Sweden and definitely raised here. Vivian Bushek group featuring Seamus Blake and a project called Roots. Vivian has developed one of the finest of Swedish jazz singers today and one of the future's big hopes for the vocal jazz in Sweden. And this is one of her most exciting projects so far, I think, definitely, because she has invited the fantastic tenor saxophonist Seamus Blake to come to join her. He's American. He's been around for many years, since the 90s, I would say. He's been a famous name in jazz music worldwide. And, well, that's a name hardly in need of larger presentation also. He played pretty much with everybody so far. So I think this is really nice for Vivian to have this collaboration. It's an honor for her and an honor for us to have them here. The group consists of some of Scandinavian's absolute top jazz musicians, led by Martin Sjöstedt, who is a fantastic bass player, but in this group is a fantastic piano player. He started to play piano some 15 years ago. He was already then one of the absolutely top European bass players. But he became a fantastic pianist, unbelievably enough. He's extremely talented. And then two Danish guys, and one of the finest rhythm sections in Europe, I would say, Jesper Bodelsen and Morten Lund. That's about how good it can be, you know, when it comes to jazz in Europe. One of the concerts I'm sure, you know, will be sold out and could be sold out probably 2 or 3 times is the next artist coming to Ystad Theatre at 4 o'clock. This is one of the big worldwide names in jazz today. Stacey Kent, American singer, lives in UK since many years back. Stacey Kent featuring saxophonist Jim Tomlinson and the Klaus Krona trio. A lot of you know that Stacey Kent and Jim Tomlinson since many years are a couple, and they travel all around the world and do concerts, if not always with their own group, but in cases like this with a great, I wouldn't say local, because Klaus Krona trio is not a local band. It's well, if you mean, I'm local by the way, but if you say local, sometimes it's like diminishing it the quality a little bit. And Klaus Krona, by the way, he lives in Stockholm and Berlin. He's a legend in Sweden. He's been around forever, and he was on tour with Benny Goodman. I didn't even know that until recently, long ago, of course, you know. And he came up as the house trio at Nalen, the legendary Stockholm jazz place in the 50s, the 60s. It was the house trio rhythm section there for people like Lars Collin and everybody was there, a lot of American artists. So this is really high quality trio, Klaus Krona trio, as the act is. So that will be fantastic. Then back to this Salohallen, and that's a 6:30 concert with the Argentinian vocalist Lily Dahab. I should mention that the Saturday is focused on vocal jazz. We did it kind of a vocal day. We never had a vocal day like that, and this is the first time ever that happens. There's a lot of vocalists this year. I promise you that will not happen next year. No, I'm just kidding.
I didn't hear that.
No. Susanne is, by the way, a very accomplished one of the finest we had in opera singing. Not anymore, but as you know, and sometimes they retire too early. She was one of the cases. By the way, Lily Dahab, Argentinian, now living in Germany, singer who has been here. She was here 11 years ago, I think. The second, she's been here twice, but it's long ago. She's a favorite of the festival, and not at least Thomas' favorite.
Yes.
Many people's favorite. Her music is a mix of South American rhythms and feelings and jazz improvisation, and she has this wonderful German group with her husband Benne Daniel, great pianist, and it's very mellow and soft but high quality music, I must say. The project called Under the Same Sky. 6:30 on Saturday. Then as the very last festival concert on Saturday, and originally that was supposed to be the very last concert. We invited the fantastic singer Andreas Kjærer, and I had this idea because I know he's a crazy guy. He can do anything. He's like, I would say, I'm not sure if you're there, Andreas, listening now. I'm not sure if you would like to hear it, but I like to compare you a little bit with Bob McFerrin because you have the same enormous quality of broad-ranging styles, and you seem to be able to do pretty anything. And this is what I think will happen this evening. It will be pretty much anything can happen. It's a tribute to the human voice. Andreas is coming totally alone, the solo voice concert. Can you imagine that? I think that's really the biggest challenge you can have. I'm sure he will involve the audience somehow, and that will probably happen a lot of things, but I don't know what. I'm really curious and excited about this. Andreas Kjærer, a tribute to the human voice. Yes, and that was supposed to be the last main concert, but then we had also a collaboration with two stages outside of Ystad, inner city, and one of them is on the Saturday, the 7th of August, at Hammenhög Gästis. It's about maybe 25-30 kilometers from Ystad center. It's a beautiful old, what do you say, not restaurant really, but now it is a restaurant, but what Gästgivargård. Yes, once in a while it was like a simpler restaurant, but now it's a high quality restaurant, by the way, so don't make any mistake about that. They will have a concert there at 7:30. Morten Lundgren, the great Malmö trumpet player, with special guest Mimi Terris. Morten Lundgren Quartet, that is. Special guest vocalist Mimi Terris, one of the award winners last year. The project is called Going to the Movies, so I guess we're talking about film music here. And then I'm coming to the last extra day, Sunday the 8th of August. There will be one concert, 3 o'clock, at Solhällan in Löderup. That's a stage we collaborated with now for some years, maybe 4 years or something. And they have tradition to invite Monday night big band from Malmö, one of Sweden's greatest big bands, in the tradition of Fab Jones Meluas big band. And they have a secret guest. And I know when you have a secret guest, there will be a packed house because everybody wants to know who is this secret guest. Could it be Miles Davis? Could it be somebody else? I don't know.
Do you know who it is?
I can't say anything. And that's about the main the headlines program. I will now briefly go through some of the other things that will happen. There will be 2 talks, and they will be led by Susanne Rydén. Maybe you want to say something about these 2 talks?
Yeah, well, we have a tradition within the Academy of Music to put music in a special kind of context and also dig a little bit deeper into the stories behind the music and the musicians in this case. We will meet on Thursday and Friday 2 very strong and important musical profiles, legends, living legends within the field of jazz, and it will be my pleasure to have a talk together with them. Rydén is the first one, which we heard a lot about, and the other one is Siggy Loch, who has been extremely important promoting the jazz via his recording label, including many Swedish
very many
jazz
Swedish
musicians. Yeah.
productions, yes.
Yeah. So we will have a talk about their lives and what has been, their will. What did they want with the music? How did their lives proceed in these directions? And I think it will be very interesting to hear what they have to say and
Yes,
to
indeed.
follow the threads through their lives.
If I didn't say it already, Rydén will be our guest of honor this year. Every year we have a guest of honor. First time was Quincy Jones, and Rydén is just perfect in this tradition, of course. Regarding Siggy Loch, should be mentioned also that Siggy is the founder and still very active. So, in Act Records to the record label, which is one of the 2 biggest and still hard-working jazz record labels in Europe today. The other one being ECM, which we celebrated a year or 2 ago when they celebrated 50 years in music. Now it's Act's time to be celebrated here. I'm continuing now to mention that we continue also another tradition to have a jam session every year. Not only one, but normally we have every night. I think at least 2 of the nights now, Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
Friday and Saturday night there will be a jam session.
No. Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Well, that might be important to some of you, because some of you only come for a jam session. I know that, I don't see some of you at the concerts, and then maybe you show up at the jam sessions. Friday, Thursday and Friday. This year led by the Cornelia Nilsson trio. Well, including great Danish young pianist Sia Romme and another really great, very important guy for Swedish jazz in the future here, Johnny Åman on bass. Okay, we have many traditions here, and we try to keep them, and we always try to add something new also, so I don't know where it will end with the festival in a few years from now. Anyway, one of the traditions, of course, is to invite a special artist to make the cover of the festival. It so happens that he used a photo of mine in this. That's me, and that's some other musicians here. I think it's very well done. I hope everybody will be happy with it. I'm very happy with it. And I was about to say something funny about it, but I won't. It looks like I have a small moustache.
Yeah,
Half.
half a moustache.
That's the
Yeah.
shadow. It's a great painting, by the way. It's a great painting.
It's
One of the
fantastic.
great paintings this year, and she's a fantastic artist, Pia Karlström. She was raised in Spain and moved back. She's Swedish, from a Swedish family. She moved back to Sweden at some point in her life, and now we have the honor to have her as our painting artist this year. The other other thing I should mention also, I'm coming to that. I almost forgot that, but thank you. One of the traditions is to have ambassadors. Wasn't you an ambassador one time? No.
No.
No, I was never asked.
No.
Anyway, we have famous or kind of famous or important people that we believe can help to spread news about the jazz festival. Of course, they have to have some interest in jazz or in the festival or a personal connection somehow, to make it valid. And this year we have two very famous and great personalities who, I understand, both have a big liking for jazz and are willing to help us spread the reputation of the jazz festival. One of them is Susanne Alakoski, the author, the writer, and she became extremely famous in Sweden when she wrote Svinalängerna, who also was filmed, I believe, right?
Yeah.
The other person is Carl Fredrik Gustafsson. To some, he's known as Carl Fredrik på Eklaholm. He's a big personality. He has this interior design shop on the countryside, and it's almost impossible to get a chance to come into this store because it's always packed with people. He is famous in Sweden also because he had a television show about this interior design.
And flowers.
place. And flowers, of course, is his thing. Flower design.
Flowers.
Yeah. That's his big thing. Yeah, and now come to perhaps the last thing, and that's the some of the next generation I have to mention. We have 6 concerts this year with the next jazz generation, and we'll mention briefly something about each concert here. On Thursday we have 2 concerts. One with group named Tre Öar is led by the fine guitarist Sebastian Persson. The second concert is by Alicia Lindberg Quintet. Alicia, I think she's from the Stockholm area, Järna, and she's a really nice, beautiful singer with a big talent. As everybody, all these young musicians are really big talents. They have been selected because they are big talents and possibly the hope and future of jazz in Sweden and jazz perhaps internationally also. On the Friday we have another 2 concerts. Kristoffer Sjöström Trio. Kristoffer Sjöström, bass player, electrical bass player perhaps most of all, and he comes with trio consisting of people that studied at or studies at the Malmö Academy of Music, Malmö Musikhögskola. Second concert on the Friday is a group led by singer vocalist Matilda Schüborger, who is considering a really big talent, and she comes with a quartet. Music, well, it's as soon as you're starting to mention names, you might get the wrong impression, and maybe like it's can be a burden sometimes for a young artist if you say she comes from the tradition of that one or that one. So I don't I was almost doing that, but I won't. I won't. It's beautiful music. Saturday, 2 concerts as well, and the first one by the Alexandra Shabu Collective. She's from Trollhättan, I believe, originally, and also one of the big talents in vocal jazz, and hopefully for the future. The last concert of these next generation concerts is by a guy that is raised, I think he's born here, but he definitely comes from Ystad. He's a local Ystad guy who has taken jazz to his heart, and he's trying his best to become a jazz musician. He's coming with a gang of his, a group they have all studied at Sankt Sigfrids Folkhögskola in Växjö, Sweden. This is, I like his name also. His name is Erik Wallander. He calls it Wallander Quintet, and everybody who's an interest in detective series like the Wallander series made in Ystad understands the connection here, but there's no connection except the name. The Wallander Quintet. I think that was it.
Should we mention that we also have some senior jazz for the people in? There's always something new coming up, right?
Yeah.
People who are in nursing homes and who cannot longer move and get to the actual concerts. So we have 4 concerts, for 6 concerts for jazz, senior jazz lovers. Pop-up concerts and as mentioned also for the children. So we try to cover the whole society during this week. I think we maybe should mention Tanja Vaira, who is one of the fantastic vocalists who will be singing and with the children, for and with the children in this part.
Thank you very much.
Anything more? Anybody? I think it's time to conclude, right?
Yes, I will say you can find all the program on our website, of course, ysjf.se, and later this afternoon you can see this again at YouTube. Yeah, and of course we will again say thank you to all our sponsors and other who helped us to make this for a very good festival. And of course we hope to see you all in Ystad this summer. Welcome.
Sounds good. See you there. Vi ses.
In one way or the other.
Yeah.